Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back in the Porsche 718, the Cayman at Road America full course for yet another track guide. If you're new to my channel, what we do is a hot lap, then a breakdown, then we're back in the cockpit one final time with the driving line on. Any questions, let me know in the comments and let's start the hot lap. All right, let's go. So we're smashing it down the main straight. Up to 6th gear. We're looking for that 3-cone, braking up to about 80%, leaving it in 4th gear on the gas, making sure we're cutting that corner, exit nice and wide, don't hit the grass. There is an off track there. Now we're looking for the 2 marker, this time braking again up to about 80%, but dropping it down to 3rd gear. Again, exiting wide, but not hitting that grass, because once again, there's another off track lurking there to catch you out. Right, as we approach turn 5, it's going to be the 2 marker, braking all the way down to 2nd gear, again getting that left-hand tyre over the edge. We're going to leave it in 3rd gear, but we're going to brake at the top of the hill, and again leaving it in 3rd gear, but cutting that corner, getting over to the left-hand side, up to 4th gear, just a lift through turn 7, back on the gas, exit nice and wide. Once again, we're going to be looking at the 2 marker, this time braking really hard, almost up to full there, dropping it down to 2nd gear, back up through the gears, up to 4th. So we're going to do the first part. Now we're going to be a big lift and just very lightly on the brakes. Gradually getting back up to full gas, exit nice and wide. To come to turn 11, and I'm going to do the same thing again, just lightly on the brakes, not to slow the car, just to get those front tires even to grip up. Now we're looking at the 3 marker here, going into Canada corner, down to 3rd gear. Up to 4th, I'm going to do a little lift through 13.8, and now back on the gas. Back over to left-hand side. Midway between the 3 and the 2 is when we're braking for the final corner. Down to 3rd gear. Exit nice and wide. As we come up the hill and over the line shortly in a 2:15.4. Right, let's do the breakdown. Right, breakdown. So the first braking marker is going to be the 3 cones here. So just as before we get to those, braking up to about 80%, dropping it down to 4th, and as you can see, trailing it off and then getting back on the gas at the apex. Now it's midway between the 3 and the 2 coming up here. So as we go through the 3 and then just before we get to the 2, braking up to, again, about 80%, dropping it down to 3rd gear, trailing it off all the way down to the apex, getting back on the gas at the apex, getting up to full just as we're leaving the curb. Now, you want to be careful, because if you touch that mud with any part of that front left wheel, you are going to get an off track. Right, our next braking marker for turn 5 is going to be the 2 here, and we're braking really hard. I do actually reach 100%, dropping it all the way down to 2nd gear, and we're wanting to get the left-hand tire just slightly on the mud there, just to help us make the turn. We're already back up 2/3 pressure at the apex. Next braking marker is just before we crest this hill, so just as we get to the top of it, braking up to, 60-65%, trail it off down to the apex, and again, we're trying to get back on the gas as early as possible. So at the apex, I'm already on 70% gas. Back over to the left-hand side, and we just do a lift around here. And again, we can cut the corner quite substantially. Got to keep the center of the car over the curbing. Exit nice and wide as we look to spot the 2 marker on the right hand side coming to turn 8. So again, another hard braking zone. what, 95, 96%, drop it all the way down to second gear, still trailing it off this time all the way down to the apex, and then as we hit the apex, back on the gas. Up to fourth gear. So the first part here, we're going to do flat through this little bit with mud on it. And once that gets out of view, that's when we're on the brakes up to sort of 12%. So again, not actually slowing the car down, but just making sure the front wheels are gripping up. And we start getting back on the gas. And then we get up to 100% as soon as we can see the corner sort of ending up ahead, as you can see now. And we're going to do very similar here in turn 11. So we go through the 2 and then the 1. And as we do that, we come off the gas, on the brakes again, up to 10, 12%, and then back on the gas as soon as possible, mid-corner. As we come up to turn 12, it's going to be the... is it the 3 or the 2? Yeah, so it's just before the 3 marker here. We're braking up to, what, 85%. Wipe all that speed off, trail it off down to the apex, dropping it down to third gear, and then we're back on 100%, more or less where the apex would be if I was a couple of feet over to the right-hand side and made it. There is plenty of room on exit, up to fourth gear. And we're going to do a little lift at the start of this curbing, the yellow and red. Turn in, do the lift, and then we're back on to 100%, actually well ahead of the apex here. Back over to the left, and then the braking marker is this light patch of grass on the left-hand side that you see here. As I go through that, on the brakes up to about 55%, drop it down to third, trail it off, and now we start picking back up on the gas as we're on the curbing. And I do get up to 100%, more or less on the apex here. And that is the breakdown. We have one final version coming up next with the driving line on. Without me talking, enjoy.